This video shows how to find the equation of a line algebraically. Our first example will be a fairly straightforward one, and then we'll move on to some more complicated examples. In our first example, we're going to find the equation of a line that has a slope of 2 and a y-intercept of -1. Graphically, that looks like this. The y-intercept, here's the y-axis. Y-intercept is at -1. The slope is 2, which means that the change in y is 2. And since 2 can be written as 2 over 1, it means that the change in x is going to be 1. So from this point, we're going to go up 2, 1, 2, and over 1. So the question is asking us to find the equation of this line. The equation of a line can be written as y equals m times x plus b. Well, we were given some information about slope and y-intercept in the question. In this question, we were told that the slope of the line is 2, so m equals 2. And the y-intercept, and we use the letter b for y-intercept, is equal to -1. At this point, we can substitute 2 and -1 into the equation, giving y equals 2x plus -1. And then we can simplify from there. So the equation is y equals 2x minus 1. So again, that's the equation of the line that has a slope of 2 and a y-intercept of -1. Let's move on to a more challenging example. In this example, we'll find the equation of a line that has a slope of -5 and passes through the point 1, 2. Again, graphically, that sort of looks like this. Point 1, 2 is up here, 1 in the x direction, 2 in the y direction, and it has a slope of -5. The negative means we're going to go down 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And since it's just -5, that means that the slope is actually -5 over 1, so we're going to run 1. So we're going to change our x direction by 1. So the question is asking us to find the equation of this line. We have the graph here to kind of help us out along the way. Eventually, you'll be able to do this without the graph. So let's start by writing what we know. We know that the slope is -5. We don't have a y-intercept in this case. You know, if we have a slope and a y-intercept, we can just substitute them into the equation. But we do have a point, and that point is 1, 2. Let's start by substituting the slope into the equation. So again, m is -5. We'll plug that in. And now we have an equation. Trouble is we don't have b. We do, however, have a point. Remember that these points, this point, has an x-coordinate of 1 and a y-coordinate of 2. We can substitute these coordinates into the equation and solve for b. So substituting into the equation, again, be careful in the order here. The first coordinate is x, and it has to go in as x. The second coordinate is y, and it goes in for y. And now we can do some algebraic manipulation here and solve for b. -1 times 5 is -5. Solving for b, we can eliminate this -5 on the right by adding 5 to both sides, giving that b is equal to 7. So now we have an m value, a b value. We can plug them both into the equation for a line, giving y equals -5x plus 7. Let's try another one. In this example, we're going to find the equation of a line that passes through 2 points. Those points, in this case, are 5, -13, and -2, 8. Again, graphically, it kind of looks like this. Here are the 2 points, 5, -13, -2, 8. We want to find the equation of this line. In this case, we don't know m, the slope, or b, the y-intercept. We do know 2 points, however, and we know that we can calculate the slope between 2 points by calculating the change in y over the change in x. I'm going to choose the second point here to be my point number 2, which means that this will be y2, and the -13 will be y1. You can do this in the opposite order as long as you're consistent. If the -13 is your y2, then the 5 needs to be your x2. So I'm gonna have point this second point here is my point number 2, making this y2 and x2, y1 and x1. So I'm just gonna substitute those in. So 8 minus -13 over -2 minus 5. We can simplify that. 8 minus -13 is 21. -2 take away 5 is -7. And when we reduce, we get a slope of -3. Now this question becomes a lot like the question from the previous page. We have a slope, and not just 1 point, but 2 points. So remember the equation looks like this, y equals mx plus b. We can substitute the m into the equation. And at this point, we can choose either of the 2 points to sub into the equation to solve for b. Both will give us the same result for b. I'm going to choose this point here, negative 2, 8. Again, negative 2 is x, and y is 8, so we'll sub those into the appropriate spots. And we can solve the equation. Negative 3 times negative 2 is positive 6. And we can solve the equation here by subtracting 6 from both sides. 8 minus 6 is 2. And we're left with a b on the right. We have m, we have b. We can plug them into the equation for a straight line, giving us y equals negative 3x plus 2. The only thing that you may encounter that's a little more difficult is that your slope may end up being a fraction instead of an integer value. You would proceed exactly the same way. The calculations in here, the algebraic sort of simplification, might become a little messier, but follow all the rules for fractions and everything should be okay. Thanks for watching.